Listen up! The ancestral drum is sounding on its own in the dead of night. On the windless banks of the Maryland River, Damali's wooden house suddenly echoes with a faint drum beat. No one touches it, yet the drumhead vibrates like an uneasy heartbeat. Maina startles, his eyes locking onto the silhouette of the strange woman who just stepped through the door, Zuri, whom his stepfather calls an old friend. But why does the drum tremble fiercely every time she draws near? Hidden deep in the misty waters, the pearl-like skin and radiant golden scales of a mermaid await awakening. Will Maina dare to seek answers before the entire family is swallowed by the river's dragon eye? Once upon a time, in an old African-American community, along a gentle river in Maryland, stood a wooden house quietly amid the reed fields. That house belonged to Damali, a hard-working man who had lost his wife in a fierce storm and now struggled to raise Maina, his wife's child from a previous marriage. The land they lived on had been passed down through generations, tied to every drop of sweat, every work song, every breath of prayer from the days when their ancestors were still in chains. In that house, in the main room, sat a treasure few dared touch, the ancestral drum. The drum skin had faded with time, the wooden frame dark, etched with swirling patterns like water waves. Villagers said this drum had come with an ancestor from across the ocean, and in every beat lay the souls of generations past. Even Damali wouldn't strike it. He only told Maina, "When the drum speaks on its own, that's when you must listen to the ancestors." Maina often sat by the window overlooking the river, sometimes hearing the wind whistle through the reeds like a sigh. He pitied his stepfather, the man who had done his best but could never fill the void left by his mother. For solace, Maina found comfort in the old songs his grandmother once sang, in the moonlight shining on the river's surface, where water and sky merged like a mirror. One afternoon, as sunset blazed red across the roof tiles, Maina heard a knock at the door. Damali opened it and found an elegant woman draped in a thin shawl that reflected the evening light like gold plating. The woman introduced herself as Zuri, an old friend of Damali from long ago. Her voice was sweet as honey, her eyes sparkling brightly, stirring Damali so deeply that he forgot his caution. He invited her in as if welcoming back a piece of his past. But as her foot crossed the threshold, Maina heard something strange. The ancestral drum, silent for years, began to vibrate softly. At first it was like a whisper from the earth. Then the rhythm grew clear, echoing an unease into the space. Maina looked around, seeing only Zuri's gentle smile and Damali beaming like he'd grown young again. But the boy felt a chill run down his spine. That night, Maina tossed and turned, unable to sleep. Outside, the river wind howled long, carrying the scent of mud and salt. He remembered his stepfather's words about the drum. If the drum speaks on its own, trust that the ancestors have something to say. Maina pressed his ear to the drumhead, feeling the lingering vibration, like the heartbeat of someone afraid in the dark. The next morning, as Maina went outside, he encountered a familiar sight. On the riverbank, on a moss-covered rock, an old Creole woman sat humming an ancient song in a mix of French and African tongues. They called her Mère Elise. She lived alone, rarely speaking to anyone, but to Maina, her voice evoked memories of his mother. He stopped, listening. The old woman opened her eyes, cloudy but shining, and whispered, "I see the drum has rung, hasn't it, child? Don't let strangers tread this land. The river remembers everything, and the river never forgives the greedy." Maina was stunned. Before he could ask more, the old woman resumed singing, as if she'd never spoken. The wind carried her song into the wooden house, where Zuri was laughing with Damali. And in that moment, Maina glimpsed a golden light reflecting on the water, sparkling like fish scales at the river's bottom. Was that just sunlight, or the first warning of a mysterious power rising from the river? And before continuing the main story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Oh, and don't forget to comment below where you're watching from. We'd love to know that. The morning light filters through the door cracks, flooding the small wooden house by the river. Damp mist still clings to the window panes, carrying the tangy scent of reeds and fresh mud. Damali, with a rare enthusiasm, busily prepares breakfast with his old guest, the woman he calls Zuri. She drapes a thin silk shawl printed with swirling wave patterns, each movement bringing a strange rhythm to the room. Zuri enters the family life naturally, as if she's always belonged. She sets the dishes, cooks meals with exotic spices that Damali nods and praises. In his gaze, her arrival evokes a hazy memory of his youth. Before he'd tasted loss, Damali smiles more, his voice warm, laced with emotion like finding a lost piece of life. Maina, however, sits quietly on the porch, hearing the ancestral drum vibrate softly every time Zuri crosses the threshold. He looks at her not with hatred, but with wariness. From the wind blowing through the reeds, he imagines hearing the ancestors' whispers, mingling with the drum's echoes from the past. The unease spreads, like small ripples widening on the water when a pebble falls. Every afternoon, Zuri strolls along the riverbank. She gazes at the rushing water, her eyes gleaming with both fascination and calculation. Her hair catches the sun, reflecting orange gold like fire. Villagers who spot her whisper that they've never seen a woman so beautiful and mysterious. But to Maina, each footprint she leaves on the ground makes him shudder, as if the grass itself rejects her presence. Damali begins spending less time on daily work, sitting instead to listen to Zuri's stories. She speaks of distant lands, buried treasures, opportunities for wealth and change. Each tale she weaves like shimmering silk, enchanting Damali's ears eager for renewal. He looks around the old wooden house, suddenly finding it cramped, the familiar walls now confining his dreams. Maina silently witnesses the change. He sees his stepfather's eyes drifting further from the land, trusting the new woman more. In his heart rises a nameless fear. Fear of losing their refuge, fear of losing the last tie to his late mother. One night, wind rises from the river, carrying cold into the house. Maina lies awake, and stepping onto the porch, he sees a flickering light in the kitchen. Zuri sits there alone, before a small ebony chest. She opens it, revealing strange items, feathers, shells, dried fish bones, and a small vial of thick black liquid. She mutters in a foreign language. At that moment, the ancestral drum in the main room suddenly vibrates, strong enough to echo through the house, like a warning bell. Maina holds his breath. He presses against the wall, eyes wide. Zuri looks up, the oil lamp's flame reflecting on her face, half beautiful, half terrifying. Her red lips purse, her eyes flash fiercely. Then she slowly closes the chest, extinguishes the lamp, and walks to her room as if no one is watching. The next morning, Damali is cheerful as usual, noticing nothing odd. He only sees Zuri bringing new dishes, speaking sweetly. Maina wants to tell, but seeing his stepfather beam like a child, he chokes. In his heart, he knows if he speaks, he won't be believed. In the days after, the ancestral drum vibrates stronger, especially in afternoons when river wind hits the door. Maina sits on the porch, listening to the drum mingle with frog croaks, waves lapping the shore. In that sound, he discerns a vague call, like echoes of generations. Be vigilant, stand up, protect. Another afternoon, as the fiery sun sets, Maina sees the Creole old woman on her familiar rock. Her song rises, lingering and undulating like wind through the forest. Maina sits silent, each word carving into his heart. He knows she's referring to Zuri, and knows the ancestral drum doesn't lie. But what to do? He's just a child, without power or strength, facing a cunning woman gradually claiming his stepfather's trust. As night falls, looking at the river, Maina sees golden light flash underwater. This time, clearer, brighter, like scales of a giant creature moving below. That luminous wave twists, reflecting on the shore, making reeds glow briefly then fade. Maina clutches his chest, breathing fast. In silence, he understands an ancient power is awakening, one that could save or destroy all. He has no choice but to investigate, though he knows the path will lead him to unimaginable things. The pale golden morning light spreads over the river, reflecting rippling waves like hidden fish scales. The wooden house by the river now fills with Damali's laughter, as Zuri has become a familiar guest. Every meal she attends, her stories steady like a drawn-out song, each word wrapping his mind. She begins infiltrating family life softly, first with dishes cooked in strange spices, reminding Damali of a homeland he's never set foot in. Then with half-true, half-fictional tales of lands where sea meets sky, where rivers open buried treasures. Damali listens, eyes bright like a child's first fairy tale. He forgets flood seasons, forgets the toil of planting, even forgets the ancestral drum's uneasy silence vibrating when Zuri passes. Maina observes all in silence. He sees his stepfather plow less, spending hours with Zuri on the porch, hearing her sing in a strange language. Sometimes she takes his hand, fingers long and cold as night dew, eyes like an invitation to a distant dream. Damali sinks into that intoxication, ignoring the unusual drum beats, ignoring the worry etched on his stepson's face. At night, Maina sneaks around the house. He hears the drums still humming, a dull rhythm like an old man's failing heart. Once, he enters the main room, placing his hand on the drumhead. Heat spreads to his palm with an urgent sensation. Maina understands the ancestors are warning, but warning whom when Damali himself closes his eyes to every sign. One afternoon, Zuri takes from her chest a dull gold necklace. She gives it to Damali, saying it's an heirloom bringing prosperity to its keeper. The gold's glow casts on his face, making him look young, eyes sparkling with hope. Maina sees but dares not intervene. He only remembers the Creole old woman's song by the river. The dragon eye swallows the greedy. In following days, Zuri talks more about land. She sits by Damali, hand gently on his shoulder, voice sweet as poured honey. A plot across the river could change lives. If you know to trade, to let go of old things, we'll have a new future. Each time she speaks, Damali sits silent long, then nods as if led by an invisible rhythm. Maina increasingly feels the house alien. Familiar items seem soulless. The wooden table no longer for family gatherings, the warm hearth now lit for strange meals. Everything revolves around Zuri, as if she's rooted in every corner. Another night, strong wind blows from the river, carrying the fishy smell of algae and salt. Maina can't sleep, stepping onto the porch to find Zuri standing alone under moonlight. She gazes at the river, lips murmuring whispers. Wind gusts, bringing sounds like songs from the water's depths. Moonlight reflects on the river flashing, and briefly, Maina thinks he sees a colossal shadow, golden scales glittering deep below. He recoils in fear, but the house drum rings, this time strong enough his chest vibrates. He knows what he sees isn't illusion. Something awaits, a power unclear if salvation or destruction. Next morning, Maina tries hinting to his stepfather, but Damali waves it off, smiling kindly. You're too suspicious. Zuri brings light to our home. Just open your heart, you'll see what I see. Maina falls silent. For the first time, his stepfather no longer shares faith in the ancestors. Day by day, Zuri presences more in family life. She helps Damali with papers, calculates land matters. She sits in the main room, casually as true owner. Each time she touches the drum, it vibrates fiercely, but she only smiles like hearing fine music. At night, Maina hears her open the chest, take out talismans, perform shadowy rituals, and each time, golden light under the river grows brighter. The dragon eye whirlpool seems to raise its head waiting. Maina feels cornered in darkness. He has no support but the Creole old woman's cryptic songs, the ancestral drum's ceaseless urging. In his heart, resolve forms. If he doesn't stand, if he doesn't find release, this house won't be his and his stepfather's anymore. But to do that, he must uncover the truth about the silk-shawled woman, understand why golden light at river's bottom follows her steps. And most importantly, he must fully heed the river's call, home to a golden-scaled goddess radiant and mysterious as his community's fate. Night falls on Maryland's riverbank, the water still as a black mirror. Only insects buzz in the reeds, and wind blows through the wooden roof, shaking old planks. Maina lies in bed but can't close his eyes. He hears a familiar sound, the ancestral drum, but this time not soft beats like before. It rings strong, urgent, like someone striking from inside, like Earth's heartbeat in rage. He sits up, stepping lightly downstairs. In the main room, moonlight through the window illuminates the drumhead, highlighting swirling carvings like churning waves. It vibrates wildly, each beat spreading into space, making his chest resonate. Mina reaches out, but his trembling hand dares not touch. Then from the kitchen, flickering light spills. He holds breath, steps slow, hiding behind the doorframe, and there, under the oil lamp, Zuri sits alone. She opens the ebony chest, filled with talismans, feathers, broken shells, braided hair strands, a scorched dry branch. She sticks each into the ground, arranging in a spiral, muttering in a language not from here. Her voice lowers, sometimes growls, making the flame flicker as if afraid. Maina presses against the wooden post. His heart pounds with each word she utters. Each rising sound, the main room drum echoes fiercely, as if wanting to shatter the house to warn all. Suddenly, Zuri lifts a small glass vial with thick black liquid. She pours on the ground and immediately the earth bubbles, releasing a fishy stench like rotting fish under the river. The oil lamp's fire flares high, her shadow lengthening on the wall, distorted like a large fish thrashing in a net. Briefly, Maina sees the unbelievable. Her eyes flash, no longer daily gentle gaze, but red brilliance like embers in a forge. Her hair drapes, moonlight catching each strand, reflecting like wet fish scales. He recalls the gold he'd seen underwater, realizing Zuri carries the river in her body, an impure river. He turns to flee, but the floor creaks. Zuri snaps her head up. In that instant, Maina holds breath, heart dropping. But instead of approaching, she chuckles softly. That smile, sweet, yet in darkness sharp as a knife. She closes the chest, snuffs the lamp, leaving thick darkness. Maina retreats quickly to his room, heart pounding, back drenched in sweat. He wants to run to Damali, tell all he's seen. But seeing his stepfather sleeping soundly, face peaceful as if life's burdens vanished thanks to Zuri, he chokes. Would he believe? Or think he's fabricating to divide? He sits quietly by the drum. Placing both hands on the drumhead, he feels the hot beat transfer to his palms, like an urging call. Stand up, protect. Tears well in his eyes, not from fear, but terrible loneliness. Alone facing darkness, alone bearing ancestors' burden. Outside, wind rises from the river. Reeds bow, water ripples urgently. Far off, amid the flow, Dragon Eye whirlpool stirs slightly, like a giant beast shifting. Moonlight shines down, and instantly, Maina sees golden scales flash deep below. A vague song echoes, a woman's voice humming, gentle yet distant, like from primordial times. Maina presses ear to drum, hearing Earth's heartbeat mingle with the water's song. He knows time is short. If he doesn't seek help from ancient forces, this family will be lost, this land lost, ancestors' names buried forever. That night, Maina decides. He'll seek the Creole old woman by the river. Only she, singer of ancient songs knowing water's secrets, can show him the path to Mami Wata, the radiant golden-scaled mermaid hidden deep below. But how can a child step into God's domain? And will the goddess grant favor or harsher trials? And now, dear viewers, pause a moment to subscribe before continuing the main story, but only if you truly empathize with what I share here, and leave a comment below telling me where you're watching from and what time it is. Dawn hasn't risen, but Maryland's river already exhales cold breath. Thick fog blankets reeds, forming flickering shadows, like someone lurking there. Maina wakes, heart still racing after a strange dream. In it, the ancestral drum explodes into pieces, and from smoke and fire emerge Zuri's red eyes, bright as embers. He startles, sits up, feeling a strong urge. Floorboards creak softly. Someone moves. Maina holds breath, ear to floor, hearing clear footsteps. Zuri. She leaves her room in silence, feet gliding as if not touching ground. He immediately dons a coat, quietly following. The last moonlight hangs across the sky, casting a silver streak on the river. Zuri walks fast, graceful like her shawl fluttering in wind. She parts reeds, heading to a clearing by the water, where the river opens to a wide whirl. That's the Dragon Eye, where the Creole old woman once warned. Maina hides behind an ancient tree, seeing each motion. Zuri sets the ebony chest on ground. She opens, taking out talismans. This time, moonlight illuminates eerily. A dried crow head, a scorched rib bone, cracked shells stained dry blood, and a strip of blue glowing fish scales. She arranges in a spiral, mimicking the water's whirl outside. Then she kneels, hands raised high, song rising. No longer sweet words for Damali, but heavy, dark tone, like calls from deep abyss. Strange syllables ring, mingling with wind, shaking reeds like an invisible army awakening. The river responds. Water churns, Dragon Eye whirl expands, emitting deep red light. Foam rises, reeking suffocating fishiness, of rotting algae, of long-sunken corpses. Maina covers nose but the smell. The drum vibrates under his hands, and Maina feels as if the ancestors are guiding him. He closes his eyes, pouring his heart into each beat, striking the drumhead. The drum sounds unlike anything he's heard. It echoes far, beyond reeds, through mist, resounding deep into water. The river shakes. Dragon Eye whirl widens, but this time not deadly red, but golden blaze erupting, swirling like shattered sunlight. Wind from river blasts ashore, carrying strange fragrance, no longer rotting algae stench, but sweet wildflower and sea salt. Maina opens eyes, seeing water brighten, then part. A figure emerges from river's depths. Mami Wata, the radiant golden-scaled mermaid. Her hair flows long, floating like water weeds, eyes deep as abyssal sky. Golden scales cover her body, glittering each beat, brighter than moonlight. Each movement shakes the water, as if the whole river awakens. Maina kneels, tears streaming. He says nothing, only strikes another drumbeat of pleading. Mami Wata looks at him, gaze gentle yet majestic. She sings, voice humming, resonating across shores, capturing his soul. That sound unlike human, unlike water, but blend of both, like from creation's dawn. He knows he's been answered. But answered doesn't mean immediate salvation. This is just the beginning. The river blazes like a giant gold-plated mirror. Water scales spray from Dragon Eye whirl, shattering into myriad rays, covering space in mystical aura. Maina kneels close to ground, trembling hands on ancestral drum, feeling each vibration echo from river's depths. He dares not lift face, but in heart knows, the goddess has appeared. Water rises high, lifting Mami Wata's form. Her body radiant in golden scales, each like shattered sun piece, linked into shimmering armor. Her long black hair drapes, twisting water drops like reverse waterfall. Her eyes deep, holding sky and abyss, gentle, alien, judging. As she moves, river surges waves, reeds bowing like kneeling. Maina utters no word. He hears song rise, not from her lips, but space itself. Sound clear yet powerful, mingling wave crashes, wind through branches, drum under his hands. All form ancient song, flowing through soul like cool water, but carrying truth's terrifying weight. In that light, Maina sees flashes, ancestral faces, fierce floods, community-building homes, saving in storms. All family and village memories pour into this moment. He feels tiny, like sand grain in endless flow. But he also understands, even that grain holds role-preserving source for next generations. Mami Wata extends hand. Her hand rises high, whirl gathers, forming radiant golden pearl. Pearl child heart-sized, emitting warm glow, illuminating ancient tree by shore. She places Pearl in wave rhythm, letting it float to Maina. Maina, trembling, receives. As hand touches, he feels blood surge stronger, mingling with river pulse. In mind echoes whisper, not words but sensation. This power not for seizing but protecting, not ruling but balancing. He kneels, tears mingling night dew soaking ground. Drum under hand suddenly rises, fierce music, pounding his heart like hundreds ancestral hands on shoulder. Transmitting faith, Mami Wata stands, golden scales reflecting moonlight and Pearl's glow. She tilts head, gaze probing. In those eyes, Maina sees himself, small, but no longer alone. She says nothing, but presence is challenge. Dare he use granted power or fall to fear? Wind rises, sweeping river surface. In that roar, Maina hears intruding sound, Zuri's sweet, yet bitter laugh. Somewhere, she senses this, and her nurtured darkness rages. River surface shifts hue, mingling aggressive red. Maina clutches Pearl, closes eyes, focuses on drum. Drum rhythm guides, dispelling venomous laugh, keeping him from fear's sink. He knows this first step, receiving Pearl, not salvation. It's bridge-opening confrontation journey. In final glow before vanishing, Mami Wata bends, placing cool finger on his forehead. Power surges, not fire, not ice, but like carrying whole river in heart. Then she gradually sinks underwater, leaving thousands golden scales falling, turning twinkling lights dissolving in whirl. River returns calm, only small ripples, but Maina knows all changed. In hand golden pearl, in heart ancestors' duty, in ears lingering divine song. He stands, legs trembling but firm. Ahead, only path is return. Confront Zuri. No time hesitate. House, land, stepfather, community, all hang thin thread. And now, that thread is Maina. But question lingers. Will golden pearl's power truly save him, or become crushing burden for a child? All right, my beloved audience, if you're watching and find this story interesting, comment number 1 or I'm still here to continue listening. Morning floods with kitchen smoke and bird calls, but in wooden house by river, air thick like invisible veil. Maina enters, hand clutching golden pearl in pocket. Its light pierces fabric, casting small, flickering fire spots. Each step, he feels heartbeat with silent ancestral drum in main room. Zuri sits at table, elegant, holding feather quill, before thick paper stack. She smiles gently, but eyes flash cold gleam. Damali beside, hand trembling on paper, as if awaiting nod to sign. Maina halts, fear rising but suppressed by Pearl's heat in hand. He steps forward, silently placing ancestral drum in house center. Morning light through window illuminates drumhead, making wave carvings blaze like freshly etched yesterday. Zuri looks, lip corner sneers. Her laugh rings light, like babbling water but hiding mockery. Damali bewildered, not understanding Maina's action. The boy says nothing. He takes golden pearl from pocket, placing center drumhead. As pearl touches, drum sound explodes, echoing house. No one strikes, but rhythm thunders like thunder, shaking wooden frame, rattling windows, flaring kitchen fire high, then extinguishing. Damali clutches chest, eyes wide, and Zuri, gentle face distorts. Smile vanishes, replaced by low growl. Her eyes red blaze, hair disheveled, in bright light revealing dark glittering scale patches. She's no longer elegant woman entering house first day, but half human, half monster, wrapped in murky river breath. Drum grows urgent, each beat a blade, slicing her facade. Maina stands still, eyes direct, feeling pearl vibrate in rhythm, shining brilliant, shooting golden rays, wrapping Zuri like chains. Zuri screams, cry like beached whale, pitiful yet gruesome. She lunges at Damali, trying grasp hand to sign paper. But before touching, strong drumbeat rings, pearl blazes blinding, hurling her to house center. Damali stunned, all illusions clouding mind shatter like glass on ground. He sees Zuri true form. Red eyes, black-blue scales, tangled hair wrapping body like algae. He recoils, trembling hand leaves paper, eyes filled horror. Maina keeps drum rhythm with whole heart. He no longer strikes, but each beat echoes, as if generations' ancestors strike instead. Pearl brilliant halo enveloping house. In that light, Zuri thrashes like burned by fire, skin from smooth to mottled, hair becoming writhing water snakes. She shrieks, then bolts from house, black blood dripping on wooden floor. Maina and Damali watch. Door flings open. River wind rushes in, carrying fishy smell and wave crashes. Zuri runs to shore, voice hissing like wind tearing leaves, calling forces sleeping under Dragon Eye. Maina grips Pearl, heart pounding fiercely. He knows this just beginning. True battle won't happen in this house, but where river holds memories. Damali turns to stepson, eyes mixing fear and regret. He opens mouth to speak, but no words. Maina only nods, signaling silence, for they both understand. Awaiting ahead no longer family matter, but confrontation between light and dark, between ancestors' honesty and greed of one swallowed by river shadow. Out there, waves rise high, wind blows white water dust. Zuri vanished into mist, leaving trails straight to legend's start. Dragon Eye whirl. Will Golden Pearl and ancestral drumbeat have enough power to make river choose justice, or all swallowed in its wrath? Sky gray, black clouds from sea like invisible army. Wind gusts, whipping river into standing waves, driving to Dragon Eye whirl. Water roars deep, like giant beast's chest growling. Maina and Damali stand shore, eyes following Zuri's shadow-merged mist. Her form like moving dark peace, straight to churning whirl. Each footprint leaves dark mud mark, etched ground like aquatic monsters crawl ashore. Suddenly, Zuri stops. She raises both arms high, wind wrapping body, hair flying chaotic. From her mouth, alien syllables pour, twisting like snake tongues. That sound mingles waves, wind, into gruesome song. Reeds bow, mud bursts, river red like blood. Maina trembles but clutches Golden Pearl tight. Ancestral drum echoes chest, though drum in house. That rhythm guides, keeping him from Zuri's song. Damali behind, trembling hand on shoulder, like transmitting strength but also seeking hold for own fear. Dragon Eye whirl explodes red light, surging water columns tall as ancient trees. Amid light, shadow rises, murky entity, half human, half water snake, colossal twisting body. Its eyes burn red, illuminating riverbank. That's dark soul Zuri summons, sealed from ancient times. Zuri kneels, arms welcoming, her skin mottled, deforming, black scales sprouting arms and neck. She laughs loud, sharp as blade, overpowering waves. She shouts, voice hissing through wind, promise offering all, land, people, even her soul, for endless power. Maina can't delay. He raises Pearl, high toward river whirl. Golden light erupts, piercing mist, reflecting black clouds. Instantly, river retorts different song, soothing, resounding, like spring over rocks. Then she appears. Mami Wata, radiant golden scales, rising from river midst whirl, light from body blazes, tearing gray sky. Her long hair flies wind, eyes brilliant like lighthouse beacons in storm night. Her song spreads river surface, touching reeds, stones, making nature harmonize. Darkness roars, body coils, lunging at Mami Wata. Zuri stands, eyes blood red, shouts loud, urging dark entity devour goddess. But each advance, Mami Wata's golden light explodes, tearing dark part, making it howl pain. Maina kneels, placing Pearl on ground, hands touching, beating drum with whole heart. Though no drum before, echo resounds deep earth, mingling Mami Wata's song. That resonance spreads shore, sound wall against Zuri's dark chant. Damali watches all, eyes tearing. He understands now small stepson becomes bridge between ancestors and divine. He kneels beside, hand on Mina's shoulder, merging heart rhythm into invisible drum. Zuri sees, howls despair. She charges Maina, long black nails sharp as hooks, but touching aura around Pearl, golden fire flares, burning dark scales on skin. She recoils, screaming, hair becoming writhing algae, wrapping neck and arms, like darkness betraying her. Meanwhile, Mami Wata sings high, lingering like myriad stars singing. Scales on body shine extreme, piercing whirl. That light spreads, enveloping dark entity, forcing retreat into whirl. It howls, thrashes, but River chose justice. Dragon Eye closes tight, sucking colossal body deep. Zuri shrieks, lunges like desperate holding power. But whirl churns fierce, wrapping her. Final moment, red eyes stare shore, gaze hate and suffering. Then body swallowed whole, vanishing under turbid red water. Storm quiets. River returns flat, only faint golden ripples under Mami Wata's left light. Goddess looks Maina, eyes sparkling, judging yet affectionate. She nods slightly, then gradually sinks, golden scales scattering thousand bright pieces dissolving water. Maina sits motionless, hands holding Pearl, chest heaving but heart light. Beside, Damali kneels, eyes teary, whispering wordless. Wind stops, clouds disperse, moonlight reappears, illuminating night changed all. But deep in him, question rises. Has Mami Wata truly vanished, or still there? Waiting Day community needs golden scales judgment. Maryland River clear again, flat as untouched storm. Moon hangs high, casting gentle silver on reeds. Dewdrops sparkling like thousands ancestral eyes watching. Maina sits shore, hands holding golden pearl, its light softened, no longer blinding but warm, like small flame guiding ahead. Damali sits beside, eyes red-rimmed, face etched weary mixed regret. He grips Maina's hand tight, no longer stepfather and stepson distance, only gratitude and respect. In heart, doubt once clouding vanished. He understands this child bore responsibility he lacked wisdom to see. Soft song echoes from shore rock. Creole old woman sits, small form, but song far carrying, laden community memories. Lyrics no longer mournful, but light, like lullaby for post-storm river. She looks Maina, nods slightly, smile weary but peaceful. In village, people gather hearing distant ancestral drum echo. They follow sound to riverbank. Seeing Maina with pearl and drum before, all silent. No explanation needed. They sense something momentous occurred. Some elders kneel, hands touching ground like touching ancestral flesh. Children look Maina wide-eyed, fearful yet admiring. Damali stands, voice trembling but resounding. He recounts truth about Zuri, dark plot, river choosing justice. People listen, faces tense, then relax in faith. They look Maina, no longer child, but bearer connecting ancestors and divine. Small ritual erected shore. People offer wildflowers, fruits, honey drops, homely dishes, as thanks. Maina places golden pearl on drumhead, strikes 3 beats. Sound lingers, flying straight river. Water ripples light, then flashes few golden rays as reply. All bow, hearts filled gratitude to Mami Wata, radiant golden scaled mermaid. That night, community sits around fire, recounting event like legend. Elders remind youth land not just property, but ancestral memory. Youth listen, eyes bright pride. Damali, first time years, smiles light. He no longer bears lonely burden, knowing Maina matured in divine gaze. As people return homes, Maina sits shore. He gazes, dragon eye whirl, now peaceful. In water, he glimpses Mami Wata's faint shadow, long hair drifting, eyes gentle as reassuring yet reminding. He knows she hasn't truly left. She'll be there, like balanced scale, protecting, judging, whenever humans forget oath to land and river. Maina presses hand chest, feeling heartbeat mingle ancestral drum. He's no longer lonely child, but heritage keeper, linking 2 worlds, shore community, and underwater divine. In silent night, question echoes his mind, an all-hearing story. Will another day come, when darkness seeks return from river depths, and who will stand for Mina? Night fire slowly dies, leaving red embers glowing dark, like ancestors' persistent gaze. Story of Maina, ancestral drum, and golden-scaled mermaid Mami Wata closes tonight, but echoes linger like waves on shore. That small boy dared stand against darkness, and through courage, community kept land, kept generations' memories. Lesson here, not just myth but reminder. Heritage not in wealth or papers, but heart knowing protect justice, balance nature. When live right, ancestors and divine never abandon. But if greed rises one day, will dragon eye open again? And who continue stand preserve truth? That's open question, bridge to story's next part. If you've listened this far, leave comment letting us know where watching from and time now, subscribe, like, and importantly, share this video to loved ones, friends in US. For myths like this, not just stories to hear, but our shared community memories to pass, preserve, spread,